folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon or evening, depending on whatever time it might be that you're watching this video. This is the Bishop, Dr. Sidney L. Gaines, coming before you once again, alive, well, and of course, you know the rest by now. I'm still kicking in the land of the living, not by any power, of course, or might of my own, but only by and through the mercy of God that we all are kicking. Amen. Well, dear hearts, I'm out here once again by the water, sucking up some of this vitamin D, getting some of this sun. Only need about 15-20 minutes a day if I can possibly get it. And I'm telling you, it makes such a difference in your body. That's right, vitamin D. I come to learn that vitamin D deficiency will cause blood clots, will cause all kinds of problems in your body. My goodness, it'll thicken up your blood, and that's where a lot of the blood clots come from, when your blood is so thick that it's not getting through properly. Well, what helps that is that vitamin D. That's right, vitamin D. Also good for the bones, help nourish and strengthen your bones. So I'm out here sucking up this vitamin D. My goodness. As we get older, as I said, you can't, that milk and ice cream and cheese is just not good for you. Well, I say for some of us, because I know some people, my goodness, they can drink a gallon of milk. I know this particular young lady that I will not call her name, and I will not tell you who she is. But this lady is in her 90s, and she drank milk like it ain't nothing, eat ice cream like it ain't nothing, eat cheese on her eggs and grits, drink Pepsi Colas, all my Coca-Colas, and eat cakes and pies in her 90s. And I'm telling you, she don't seem to have a problem in the world. Well, of course, that's not quite true. She do have some, but still at 90 years old and able to do all those things, my goodness, listen, I started drinking milk, eating cheese, and my favorite ice cream. Man, I got inflammation all through my body. Everything is aching, joints aching. And on top of that, on top of that, some other problems starts. But anyway, God bless you, dear hearts. Thank you for joining me on this morning. I'm a little bit late this morning, got quite a few things that I'm doing, but I had to take out that 15-20 minutes, and something that I encourage all of you to do if you haven't, and it doesn't matter what age you are, from 14 all the way up to 100 years old, you need that vitamin, you need that sun, you need that exercise, you need, my goodness, you just need a few things if you still want to continue to sustain. And so I want to encourage you, dear hearts, encourage you. I tell you something that really encouraged my heart. Not long ago, I had an opportunity to ride by this place. I was riding down the road, and I saw this man out there in the field, like he was in the park, doing jumping jacks. And from a distance, it don't look like he was a young man. It looked like he was up in age. So I decided to turn the car around and go back and get out the car and go up to him and ask him how many jumping jacks you're doing. He said, well, I try to put in 150 a day. And I looked at him, I said, you mind if I ask you your age? He said, well, I am, how old did he say? He was 89. He'll soon be 90 in a couple of months. I said, and how many jumping jacks you doing? He said, I try to do 150 3 times a week. 3 times a week. This gentleman was 89 years old, doing 150 3 times a week. He said, well, I don't do it all at once. I break it up, in the day. I do so many, in the morning, then the afternoon, and then the evening. And he said, until I get to 150. And I'm like, wow, man, that sort of kind of said some things to me. I said, man, I got to get myself on the ball because I want to be 89. I want to reach 100 years old if the good Lord shall allow that to happen. But anyway, dear hearts, I didn't come out here to talk to you about that, but hopefully that would encourage you, because that's what the morning devotion is all about, is to encourage, to uplift, and to inspire to those that have fallen by the wayside, given up, to encourage you to get back up, get back into the fight, get back into the field. And that's what the whole morning devotion with Bishop G is all about. As I often say, it's not a religious platform, but it is about inspiring. And of course, I will use, of course, some spiritual principles, because I believe that that's all part of it. I believe that you gotta acknowledge, your higher power, whichever that is. I believe a God. I believe in a higher being. Some call him God, some call him Yah, Yahshua, Yoshua, whatever you call him. But the one that I'm speaking of is the one that made the heaven and the earth 6 days. And on the seventh day, he rested. That's the one that I'm talking about, the one that gave man life. He breathed into his nostrils and he became a living soul. That's the one I'm talking about, the one that said, let there be, and it was. So he's the one that I look to. So whoever it is that you look to, hopefully that he is all powerful, or it is all powerful to sustain you, to keep you. When you call on him, he answers. My goodness, that's the kind of God I got to have. I got to have one that when I call on him, he answers. When I cry out to him, boy, he comforts me. He lets me know that everything is going to be all right. I hope and pray that you have such a one in your life. If not, then I recommend, I have a strong recommendation. I recommend, my God. Yes, indeed, I recommend. We used to sing a song years ago. If your God is dead, try mine. He's still alive. That's right, he's still alive. Woo, Lord. But anyway, I wanted to talk with you about something that came to my mind. Someone had asked me not long ago, says, Bishop, man, you're doing so much. How in the world do you do all that you're doing? Well, be truthful and honest with you. Sometimes it shocks me with all the things that I'm capable and able of doing. But first, I have to acknowledge that it is He, my Heavenly Father, that gives me not only the strength, but He gives me the wisdom and the knowledge. And He also gives me a mind to seek out wisdom and to seek out knowledge. There are some things that God is just not going to just drop down and just tell you, or drop down and give to you. He will have someone else, that will give you a nugget or two. He'll encourage you to take up some higher learning, go to a class, go to a workshop or a seminar. Those are the things that helps me. That helps me. But also what I want to talk to you about, of course, and I jotted them down so that I won't forget them, get off on a tangent and go talking about something else. But a couple of things that I jot down in lieu of that question, Bishop, how are you able to do all the things that you're doing? How that you're able to be a part of so many things? How do you do that? And of course I wrote down, having a system definitely helps. Having a system, that definitely helps. Managing your time. controlling your time. Someone said that time is money. Time is money. If you got the time, you can make a whole lot of money. My goodness. But also, time is enjoyment. Time is fun. You know, on my way out here, I saw two older couples came down and they got a look every bit about in the 80s. And they came down and picked up a couple rocks and they started throwing it in the water. And I'm like, wow. I said to them, you guys are living. And they said, yeah, we thank God that we have the time in order to live. So time is also living. But also jot it down, what helps me to do all the things that I do in lieu of course, God, because remember, without God, I can do nothing. Say, without God, you would fail. Say, without God, your life would be drifting like a ship without a sail. So with God, a system, managing your time, and to do that, you got to identify your behavior. Identifying your behavior. What is it that's keeping you from doing everything that you like to do? You know, somebody told me some years ago, says, we only use, I think they said, 90% of our brain. No. Wait a minute. No. I got that wrong. We don't even use near that percentage. We only use maybe 15% of our brain. What happened to the other 90 or 100% of our brain? They said we only use a very small portion of our brain. And that's why we don't get everything that we desire to get. We're not able to do all the things because we have not managed how to operate the other part of our brain. And to do that, dear hearts, you're going to have a system. You got to have a system. But you also got to identify your behavior to understand why you and I are not getting out what we expect to get out, what we would like to get out of life, out of living. Our behavior has a lot to do with that. You got to take a look at your value system. What has helped me to do? And listen, I know that there's a whole lot more in me that I could do, just as well as there's a whole lot in you. You know, we're not even scratching the surface of our potential. And I believe that is because of our value system. You know, you got to take time and look at your value system. What are your governing values? Governing values are your 10 commandments. What are the 10 commandments of your life that helps you to run, helps you to operate, to move? What are your values, your governing values? Your governing values, your values overall that helps you to do or operate in certain areas of your life. Do you know what they are? Well, I know some of you probably never even heard of these, what I'm talking about, values. What in the world are values? Again, values is what you operate from, off of. Everybody have values. It's never the question rather we have values or not. The question is, are the values that we're operating off of, are they good values or bad values? Are there values that are helping us, or are they values that are hurting us? Everybody has values. You learn your values from your parents. You learn your values from your environment. You also are given values. Values are passed down from one generation to the next generation. Your values also come from your DNA, So values are the things that you operate off of, your governing values. Now, what we have to do is find out what your core values are. Your core values, what are the values that you hold to dearly? The values that you stick to, the values that you don't sell out, the values you hold on to dear life. Do you know what those core values are? If you don't know, then you really need to focus. You need to find out. So, again, getting back to the question that was asked, Bishop, how are you able to do all the things that you do? And I do quite a bit of things. I do a lot of things. And I'm proud of all the things that I am capable and able of doing, and looking forward to do a whole lot more things, because I'm hoping that you're like me. You want to leave back a legacy. You want your life to have meaning. And the only way that that's going to happen, dear hearts, is you got to operate from a system, a value system. The only way you're going to control your time and get the best out of your life is you got to have a system. Take a look at your values, your governing values. Okay, I'll be going over that soon. But take a look at them and pick out your core values. What are the things that you will cross the I-beam for? What will cause you to swim from this dock across that water? What will $500 do it? Will $1,000 do it? Well, let's get it a little personal. If your child was out there, would you swim out there to save your child? Would you swim out there to save your spouse? I know I'll swim out there to save my wife. My children, now I might, because they're grown. They on their own. They left home. And sometimes I wish they leave us alone. I might, because that's based on, how they value themselves, okay? But what will you swim across this lake for? Whatever it is, that's your value. That's what will cause you to dive in the water and swim over. Well, dear hearts, I just wanted to just share that with you. As I said, I was thinking about the question, Bishop, man, where do you get all that energy from? Bishop, how is you able to do this? Somebody asked me, say, Bishop, when do you sleep? Somebody even asked me, Bishop, when do you spend time with your wife? But I do, because I have a system. And I'm getting better at operating that system, because there are things that I want to get out of life before I leave here. And I want you to get some great things out of life. But what I bring to you this morning, dear hearts, is you need a system. You need to take a look at your governing values. Take a look at, bring out your core values. What are your core values? And if you do that, dear heart, you'll find that you have more time in a day. There's 24 hours in a day. There's 8 hours to each quarter. Wait a minute, is that correct? 8 hours to each, there is 8 hours There are 3 parts in it. I'm gonna say 3 times 8 is 24. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. So you got 24 hours. You got 8 hours to work, 8 hours to sleep, and it should be 8 hours to enjoy life. If you're not doing those things, which I'm not yet, but I'm working on it. You're not doing those things, then you have a time management problem. And the key is, what's your core? What's your governing values are? Look at your governing values, pull out your core values, and I believe through that system, you and I will not only enjoy life, we'll get the rest that we need, and we'll also be able to work efficiently. God bless you, dear hearts. I'll be getting back to you